Greetings and welcome to Darkest Dungeon.
Ruin has come to our family. You remember our venerable house? Opulent and imperial, gazing proudly from its stoic perch above the moor. I lived all my years in that ancient, rumor-shadowed manor, fattened by decadence and luxury. And yet I began to tire of conventional extravagance. Singular, unsettling tales suggested the mansion itself was a gateway to some fabulous and unnameable power. With relic and ritual, I bent every effort towards the excavation and recovery of those long-buried secrets, exhausting what remained of our family fortune on swarthy workmen and sturdy shovels. At last, in the salt-soaked crags beneath the lowest foundations, we unearthed that damnable portal of antediluvian evil. Our every step unsettled the ancient earth, but we were in a realm of death and madness. In the end, I alone fled laughing and wailing through those blackened arcades of antiquity, until consciousness failed me. You remember our venerable house, opulent and imperial. It is a festering abomination. I beg you, return home, claim your birthright, and deliver our family from the ravenous, clutching shadows of the darkest dungeon.
Darkest Dungeon is about making the most of a bad situation. Quests will fail or must be abandoned. Heroes will die, and when they die, they stay dead. Progress autosaves constantly, so actions are permanent. The game expects a lot out of you. How far will you push your adventurers? How much are you willing to risk in your quest to restore the hamlet? What will you sacrifice to save the life of your favorite hero? Thankfully, there are always fresh souls arriving on the Stagecoach, seeking both adventure and fame in the shadow of the Darkest Dungeon. Darkest Dungeon is a game put out by Red Hook Entertainment in 2016. I stumbled across it watching some videos on Starva's channel. He's actually playing the sequel they have started working on. It's currently in early access on Epic Games Store. It's not currently available in early access on Steam, last I checked, but the original game, Darkest Dungeon, was on sale on Steam for like under $4. And so that's the reason I decided to do this video, to get it out there and see if you all are interested in this game. You can grab it while it's still on sale, if I get the video uploaded in time, hopefully. Darkest Dungeon is a roguelite RPG, and I really love the theme, the art style, and the music. It's a very Lovecraftian horror. And hopefully the music's not too loud right now. I do have it cranked down to about 40%, but it does have some pretty big crescendos. But yeah, it's got a little bit of a harsh learning curve. It's turn-based combat, and it boils down to basically being a strategy game and managing action of your actions during the turn efficiently. But it's a pretty fun game, and I figured I'd jump in here and show a little bit to you. I have been playing quite a bit, though I think I'm going to restart this because I kind of screwed myself up. But we'll start a fresh one so I can show it to you. And I'm kind of attracted to these games with difficult learning curves. My favorite board games are like Shadows of Brimstone. It's extremely brutal starting out, but once you understand the mechanics, and as long as you're not completely screwed by the RPG, the RNG, you can really manage it fairly well. But this game very much reminds me of the Shadows of Brimstone style. It's the same kind of Lovecraftian theme, and you can be heavily screwed over by RNG. Bad rolls, and you can have a complete party wipe, but it's still a fun game. I have all the DLCs. Now, the Butcher's Circus DLC is not available on the Epic Game Store version, only on Steam. It's free. It adds a little PvP combat arena that is separate from the regular game, and when you compete in it, you can actually get things for your regular game. There are 3 additional hero classes. The Musketeer is basically a reskin of the Arbalist, absolutely identical to the Arbalist, just different names for the abilities. The Crimson Court DLC is very interesting. I haven't explored it too awfully much, but it's fun. The district system is amazing. I do recommend that one. And the Color of Madness DLC adds a lot to the game, I feel, as well. Alright, is this your first estate? The Crimson Court increases the complexity and pressure of the campaign. It is recommended for experienced players. It's not my first one, but yeah. There are 3 difficulties, and the Radiant difficulty, it's easy mode, basically. It's the actions in it are a lot easier, or the missions in it are a lot easier. As a matter of fact, this is the only version of the game. Once a hero gets to like level 3 in any difficulty but this, they will refuse to do missions 2 levels below them. So a level 3 will not participate in level 1 missions. A level 5 will not participate in level 3 missions. But in Radiant, that's relaxed. You can take like level 3s on level 1 missions, so you have a much easier time, like running through the missions. The default difficulty has no time limit, and you just basically go through and have fun. On Blood Moon, the highest difficulty, there is a time limit and a hero death limit. So that's the real challenge, but we're going to do on the default setting. And we will call this 4th. Now, whatever you name your save, it's going to put the in front of it and estate at the end of it. So like this is the Domine estate when I actually load into the game. This will be the 4th estate, for those of you who understand that reference. I really love the cutscenes.
You will arrive along the old road. It winds with a troubling, serpent-like suggestion through the corrupted countryside, leading only, I fear, to ever more tenebrous places. There is a sickness in the ancient, pitted cobbles of the old road, and on its writhing path, you will face viciousness, violence, and perhaps other damnably transcendent terrors. So steel yourself, and remember there can be no bravery without madness. The old road will take you to hell, but in that gaping abyss, we will find our redemption.
The old road. With the stagecoach destroyed and the caretaker gone, you will have to make the journey to the hamlet on foot. So the tutorial is the same every time you first launch a game. You start with the exact same characters who have the exact same quirks and skills. The loot you get on it can be random. But other than that, I think your enemies will always be the same. And once you get into town, the first 2 additional adventurers you can pick up will both be the same class, but they can have random quirks and random skills. And random names. The first 2 always have the same name. My loading times are a little bit atrocious on the Steam version compared to the Epic Games, because my Steam version is installed on my old hard drive I ported over from a previous computer. I didn't feel like reinstalling all my Steam crap. But my Epic Games Store install is on a solid state drive, so it tends to load faster. Map navigation. You are currently in a room. To move forth, click on another room in the map display. This will take you to the connecting hallway. So you have this map panel here. It shows you the connecting hallway and how many possible encounters or things that can be in the way.
Brigands have run up these lanes. Keep to the side path. The hamlet is just ahead.
While in the hallway, press D to move forward and A to move back. If you prefer the mouse, you can click ahead or behind the party to move them. So this game has no real-time counter. Basically, if I had to step away from this game right now, nothing would progress. It will stay right here. I don't have to worry about random encounters or my torch running down or anything. Things like that only happen when I'm actually interacting with the game. So this is a great game if you might need to step away for something. You know, the game isn't going to... You're not going to freaking die just because you're not here to act. Even in combat, there's no timer on your turns.
Dispatch this thug in brutal fashion, that all may hear of your arrival.
Kill the enemy. Combat is turn-based. On your hero's turn, click a skill icon, then click on a highlighted target. If you can't select a particular skill, it's because the hero needs to be standing in a different spot, or there are no valid targets. Mouse over the skill to see these requirements. So each of your skills have these dots in the top left and top right. The top left is where in the party order you can be standing to use the ability. In this case, I could use it in position 3, 4, 2, 3, or 4, but not in position 1. The top right is what targets I can shoot at or use it on. In this case, I cannot hit the first enemy with it, only the second, third, or fourth. So I have a Grape Shot Blast, and this one has lines connecting those. That means it's a cleave attack. It hits all of those positions. You don't choose just one. But if you look at the damage mod on it, it's minus 50% compared to, say, this one that has only a minus 15%. Area effect attacks tend to greatly reduce the damage. So this game is all about action efficiency. Don't spread out your damage if you can focus fire and kill one target. It's better to eliminate enemies. Everybody gets like one action pretty early in the game. The more actions you can take away from your enemies, the better. So in this case, we already have them outnumbered 2 actions to 1. But I'm just going to use Open Vein, and I love the tooltips on this. They give you a lot of info. It tells me my base accuracy, my damage mod, that I'm going to do a bleed with 100% base chance, what the bleed's damage is, and the debuffs it will apply to the target. And when I have the ability targeted and mouse over a target, yeah, you see, it'll give me the tooltip of how much chance I have to hit, how much I have to crit, and how much damage I will do. So I put a bleed on him that's going to do 2 damage per round for 2 rounds. That's not enough to kill him unless he takes... If I can do 4 more points of damage to him, the bleed will kill him before he gets to go again, because all DOT damage takes place right before your activation. And the debuffs I put on him will last 2 rounds. But he's not going to last that long, because I'm just going to smite the crap... Well, I could use smite. I have an 83% chance to hit with it. This one won't necessarily kill him, but has a higher chance to hit. And I have a good chance if I don't kill him, I'll get him to the point where the bleed will.
confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Loot! Each item you take will occupy a space in your inventory. Mouse over items to show details about them. This works in your inventory too. Press escape to close this window. Okay. So you get loot usually after every combat, and your inventory management is another big facet of this game. Especially if you're in a long dungeon, you will have a lot of choices about what to take with you, what to toss when you find decent loot, what to leave behind. So gold greases palms, builds empires, and instigates murder. And you need lots of gold in this game. You also need lots of heirlooms. We haven't come across those yet. And food, periodically you may get a hunger check. And if you do not have the food, all of your people are going to take damage. So when you go adventuring, you need food with you. Food is also the only way to heal outside of combat. And it's not going to do a whole lot of health, usually about 1 or 2 points per food. And one particular person can only eat 4 units of food at any particular time before they're full. But if you want to do healing outside of combat, you generally have to bring lots of extra food. Interactive objects, Curios. While exploring, you will often find interactive objects. Click or press W to investigate them. Take a look at this tent. Alright, someone has camped here recently. I can check inside the tent, ignore it, and optionally you can drag items from your inventory up there to use. Now, none of the items currently in my inventory can be applied to this. I don't have any of the items. They'll have a little icon down here with like a question mark if I've never used the item on that curio, an X if I've used it before and it had no effect, or a different icon depending on what the effect was when I used it. Which is, it's kind of neat. I mean, there are guides out there where you can look it up and see what items are supposed to be used on what curio. Or if you prefer, you can just go through and do trial and error if exploration is part of your fun. Someone left valuables inside the tent.
Packs laden with loot are often low on supplies.
I was talking, don't cut me off.
Leave nothing unchecked. There is much to be found in forgotten places.
I do really like the narrator's voice, though. That's the only reason I haven't shut him off. So we found a lot of gold. Now, I've gotten unlucky in the tutorial before and only ended up with like 100 extra gold at this point. Getting this is probably the most amount I've ever gotten in the tutorial. That's a nice chunk. Now, one thing I want to say, they actually explain how to do this later, but you know, you can right-click on it to bring up a profile screen. This guy has one of the worst quirks in the game. Kleptomaniac, prone to stealing items. Sometimes when I get close enough to interact with an object before I can, he will pop up, say something, run up and interact with the object himself. Anything he finds, he keeps. I don't get it. That's just loot that I get that I'm forced to miss because he decided to be greedy. Now there are other quirks that will make a person run up and interact with an object. That doesn't rob you of the loot. You still get it to bring it into your inventory. They just want to be the person to interact with it. But kleptomania, one of the worst quirks in the game, in my opinion, and you want to get rid of it as soon as you can. Alright, our torch has gone down. I don't have another torch to replace it with. As your torch goes down, it affects, like, when it was up at full, I had 2 pluses to dodge, 2 pluses to scouting, and 4 pluses to surprising monsters. As you see, that's dropped, and I also now have a plus to stress and a plus to monster crits. As it gets darker and darker, combat gets more dangerous. When it gets really dark, you get a bonus to loot and a bonus to crits. So, you can go through on a torchless playthrough, is what they call it, if you really want a lot of loot, but the risk is much higher.
An ambush. Send these vermin a message. the rightful owner has returned, and their kind is no longer welcome.
Now this particular enemy takes up 2 slots. So he is considered the first and second slot. So any abilities I have that normally could only hit the second slot can still hit him because he takes up half of that slot. Generally, enemies pushed toward the back are going to be more dangerous overall. They're going to have, you don't want to leave the unattended enemies. They tend to be squishier and faster. And a lot of them can do really horrible things while they're in the back positions. In this particular case, this guy does lots of AoE attacks that debuff our dodge and make it easier for other people to hit us. So he should be a primary target for the most part to wipe him out. Another option is if you can pull these guys up to the front, they become, most of them become harmless. Like when he gets all the way up to the front, instead of doing his nice big shot, he gets a crappier one. Now if you see when I mouse over these guys, it doesn't list anything under skills. On any particular playthrough, you have to see what an enemy can do before it unlocks the info for you. It's actually that playthrough gathering intel. So in this guy, if I could get their positions swapped, which I can't do with any of these characters, it would be good because he's less of a threat in the back ranks, he's less of a threat in the front ranks. But I need to get rid of this guy, or I could miss him. That works too. Okay, luckily we dodged his attack. Now, stuns are very powerful in this game. You might think I'm trading my action for their action. Their actions are usually a lot more effective than your actions. When you get characters that can heal, enemies will do more damage than you can heal. Heal doesn't counter the damage, it's just a mitigator. Usually stun is a better mitigator by robbing them of an action completely. And especially when it comes to stress damage is a lot harder to heal, and there are a lot, especially in the back row, a lot of bad stressors. But we're actually, the first thing I want to do actually is stun him. Or miss, that works too. Like I said, the RNG can screw you over. But so far it's just delaying the combat. I actually hit him, and he hit us. So yeah, that's -2 dodge for 3 rounds, but it only affected him, that's fine. He resisted the stun. Now the good thing about it is all your attacks that do stun usually do something else, so I am doing a little bit of damage to him while I'm trying to rob him of an action.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Now we're a leg up because we get 2 actions to his 1. When most monsters die, they leave corpses. Corpses act as temporary obstacles and will eventually go away on their own. You can attack corpses to destroy them faster, but often a better approach is to use range skills, push-pull skills, or even corpse-clearing special skills that some heroes possess. Monsters killed with bleed, blight, or crits leave no corpses at all. This guy they're showing right here, that's an undead courtier. He's actually one of the stress casters I was talking about. He will do a lot of stress damage in the back row, but if you can get him up to the front, he's kind of harmless. I still haven't stunned him. But I think I want to use Bulwark of Faith instead. It's a free torch. Torch plus 24. If I can get the light level up, it will boost my dodge a little bit and mean that I have a better chance of evading his attacks. Yeah, he does a little bit of stress damage when he hits and puts a bleed on you. I can return the favor with Open Vein with him now. Now I do like that you can see the stats of any enemy that you're targeting. Like I can see what his stun resist is. He actually has pretty good stun resist. He's weak to bleeds, weak to debuffs and weak to blight, but pretty resistant to stun and move. So I have a 100% base chance to stun. He subtracts 50% from that, so I only have a 50% chance to stun him. As far as corpses, DOTs are fairly effective on them, but there's no point in stunning them. They don't get a turn. No point in debuffing them. They don't do anything, and you can't really move them. You have to either destroy them or clear them, and as you see, it has 7 hit points, but it's not in the way. I just want to keep robbing him of actions if I can, because even though he's stunned, he's going to take bleed damage. And I can keep stacking that bleed. Right now it would do 2 damage for 2 rounds.
A singular strike.
That outright killed him.
This expedition at least promises success.
Now, when you crit, you remove stress from yourself and sometimes adjacent heroes. And that's one of the ways to mitigate stress. But your crits relieve less stress than their crits cause. And they can crit one guy and stress out your entire party, whereas you'll turn around and crit them and very little stress recovery. So it's all about denying actions or making enemies miss more than actually, undoing the damage they did. Though later in the game, when you have the mechanics, you can get a weak enemy up front and just kind of keep them chain stunned if you can, stall the game and heal up a little bit, stuff like that. So we found a lot of loot here. More gold. A debuff charm. We have trinket slots. Every character can carry 2 trinkets. I could drag this down here, and now I have debuff resist, but I lose dodge. But I'm just going to carry that as loot. Jade, dull green like rotting flesh. Now I believe these only stack to 5. Most of your gemstones will only stack to 5. So at most this will be about 1900, a little under 2000 gold. It would be 1875. Emeralds, green like molten envy. Those are stacked really high. Now gold only stacks to 1750. After you've completed the requirements of a quest, you have the option to return to town at any time. Just click the crest. You don't need to return to the starting room of the dungeon to exit. So we could return to the hamlet. I want to continue adventuring right now, and I can click up here to teleport out, because there is a chest here. Bandits trap chests. Something doesn't look quite right on this one. Well, let's open the chest. It's trapped. Yeah, now I think this chest always just gives you a little trap, but since it's the last thing in the adventure, you'll never get loot out of it. You can, for the most part, skip it in the tutorial. I just wanted to show you that. But like this bleed, I can ignore it. Health damage is meaningless now, since I'm not moving anywhere else. If I still had more I wanted to explore in here, that would still tick damage. But since we're leaving, health level doesn't matter. Only stress does. Now, any leftover provisions you have will sell back at a very low amount. These sold back for 5 each. So if you overstock on provisions, you will recoup a small percentage of the money, but it is very slight. I still tend to over-provision for missions, because it's just the way I am. I would rather have something and not need it than need something and not have it, even if it does end up costing me more gold, because I'm wasting gold on buying something I didn't need. But we got a little bit of a haul out of this. Did not get any heirlooms. There are 4 heirloom types. You have busts, portraits, deeds, and crest. And you use these to upgrade your hamlet. After every mission, it does a little thing where you get Resolve XP. As you get more Resolve XP, your characters will level up to a max of 6. They start out at level 0. The first bit of Resolve XP will make them level 1. And then once I get to 8, I'll be level 2. And also, this means there is a chance you picked up a quirk. It can be positive, it can be negative. It can be both. The less stress you have at the end of an adventure, the more likelihood you get a positive quirk. The more stress you have, the more likelihood you get a negative quirk. That is also affected by whether you succeed at the adventure or you abandon the adventure. Abandoning an adventure increases your stress as well. So it affects the chances in two ways. And he picked up Bad Gambler. Increased chance of losing money while gambling. Okay, that's funny, and I'll show you why when we get to town. There's little loading tips on here. This screen, once it's finished loading, will automatically progress. So
Welcome home, such as it is. This squalid hamlet, these corrupted lands, they are yours now, and you are bound to them.
So what I was saying was that screen, when you go to the hamlet, will automatically progress like it did there. So sometimes you may not get to read the entire tooltip. So you have several little quest goals you can do during the course of this. And then they gave you also some roster goals of getting one of every class to level 6. So there are 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16, 17 different classes. So you start out with a roster size of 10. I think it's 9 if you don't have the DLCs. I think your max roster size is 29. I think it's 29. And at 29, you would be able to have at least one of every class and some extra doubles. And you have this activity log you can bring up whenever you're in town. It'll tell you what all's happened. The ruins have been unlocked. We have both of them made it to level 1, Apprentice from Seeker, level 0. And it gives you a little quest synopsis. Reynold and Dismas successfully escorted you to the hamlet. On any screen in the game, press and hold the H to see the contextual help for the controls in that mode. Try it while in town, exploring, fighting, camping, and more. And that'll basically bring up the controls for this screen. And in the town, it tells you a little bit about each of the buildings. Starting out, you have the Stagecoach, and the Nomad Wagon, a graveyard, and I think the Ancestors' Memoirs are the only 4 buildings that are unlocked. You have to progress the game in weeks to be able to access these others. Same for districts. You don't get districts starting out. Now, what I was going to say was, the reason Bad Gambler was funny, increased chance of losing money while gambling, he starts with known cheat. He's not allowed to gamble while in town. So these 2 quirks do nothing. They're absolutely pointless quirks because they cancel each other out. I mean, not cancel each other out, but since I can't gamble, Bad Gambler is not bad. It just fills up a quirk slot without actually being a drawback because he's already got a drawback that prevents him from gambling. Now, Dismas is a fairly good character. He has some good stun resist and fast reflexes, so speed is very good in this game. Reynold, however, not so much. Warrior of Light's nice. He does more damage when the torchlight is higher. That's one of the reasons another reason I wanted to up the torchlight. Not only does higher torchlight boost your dodge, it also helped him do more damage. He has God-fearing. He will only pray for stress relief in town. That's not horrible. But that is absolutely horrible. Being prone to stealing items. That is a trait. I really hate the fact that they gave that to a character at the very start. Because there has been one run through where that has triggered at almost every item when I was going through the very first dungeon, and he's one of the only characters I could take. So I got almost no loot going through that dungeon because this bastard kept stealing it all. I got screwed completely by the RNG in that one. As a matter of fact, it's the save game that I had up there. So let's check out these places.
Women and men, soldiers and outlaws, fools and corpses. All will find their way to us now that the road is clear.
The Stagecoach is your hero lifeblood. You'll need to recruit all of these heroes to fill out a party of 4. Drag and drop them to your roster. So you always get a Plague Doctor and a Vestal as the first 2 heroes that show up. They are random in what skills they have and what quirks they have. And their name, of course. Flambard here has quick draw. Oh, that's nice. He's fast on the first round. He'll only meditate for stress relief. I'm okay with that. He has the best stun in the game because it targets 2 people. He has a chance to trade his action to stop 2 enemy actions. That makes him one of the most powerful characters, in my opinion, for early game. And it especially helps that he has quick draw. So he is very likely to be one of the first people to go and stop the big threats on the enemy team from doing anything. I got lucky with him. He doesn't have battlefield medicine though, unfortunately. Or disorienting blast, which is another good stun. And he can't affect anybody. Yeah, he cannot affect anybody except for oh no, that affects the front 2 rows. These 2 affect the back 2 rows. This is a party buffs 1 party member. So yeah, he's not too horrible. I have to wait till the guild is unlocked before I can train him in other skills.
What better laboratory than the blood-soaked battlefield?
Now Vestal is your primary healing class in the game. Their heals still can't keep up with enemy damage, but they can do some mitigation. And if the enemy misses you a lot, you can kind of recuperate your party, but that means you're just spending her actions to heal instead of dealing with enemies. She starts with Mace Bash. Has to be in the first 2 ranks to use that. Dazzling Light. She has the stun. Good. Has the single target heal, which can only be used in the back 2 ranks. So at no point would she have an option of using either one of these. If she's where she can use that, she won't be able to heal. If she's where she can heal, she can't use that. Same for this. So when she's in the back ranks, she can either dazzle or heal. When she's in the front ranks, she has just offensive capabilities. And your heroes also get camping skills, and those are random as well. These are only used in missions where you can camp, which is medium and long missions, and certain missions where you might find firewood, but that's extremely rare. Alright, she has Eldritch Hater, Healer's Gift, and Fading. That sucks. That is a horrible quirk, making her slower and easier to hit, and she's my little squishy healer.
A sister of battle, pious and unrelenting.
Upgrade the Stagecoach network. While you're here, spend some of your starting heirlooms on upgrading the Stagecoach network. This will increase the number of heroes available here in the future. To upgrade, click the plus symbol on the left and then click upgrade. So, the first thing you want to upgrade is you want to upgrade your Stagecoach network to where you can get 4 heroes a week. You don't really want to worry about upgrading it all the way up there. You just want to get 4 heroes a week, so that if at any point you don't have any heroes you can currently use, you can still get an entire party of heroes to try a mission with. So you can go do something that week with fresh heroes.
Great heroes can be found even here, in the mud and rain.
So I am 1 deed short of being able to get 4 heroes for next week. Well, I want 4 heroes next week. So I can actually trade heirlooms, like the busts, the portraits, the deeds. I can trade them for others. Let's see. 3 busts would become 2 heirlooms. 2 deeds. 2 portraits would become 3. I think that's the that's a better trade for me right now, because it'll be a while before I need the portraits. Even though portraits are a little bit harder to get, they don't stack as high. Actually, yeah, let's do the bust. 3 busts for 2 portraits. I mean, 2 portraits. 2 deeds. So I can go ahead and make sure I'm getting 4 heroes next week.
More arrive, foolishly seeking fortune and glory in this domain of the damned.
So that's all the upgrades I'm going to worry about on the Stagecoach network for now. The next thing I'm going to upgrade is I want to get my hero barracks up, because I want to make sure I can get a good stockpile of heroes. So I'm going to be increasing this with all of my deeds for here on out till I pretty much have it maxed out, so I have a good stable of heroes. The experienced recruits is something I don't really worry about until much later. After you get your Stagecoach network to 4 and you start getting your hero barracks up, you want to be using all of your heirlooms for 2 other things. The blacksmith and the guild when you unlock them. That's where you want to spend your heirlooms, so that you can get your heroes outfitted so you can do more advanced missions as they level up. As another note, after that you can pretty much spend it wherever you want. I usually go for the campsite next, because unlocking camping skills is fairly expensive. So I like to spend some of my heirlooms after I've got these where I need them, to where I can start unlocking camping skills without a huge investment of cash. The other buildings we have.
Trinkets and charms gathered from all the forgotten corners of the earth.
So the Nomad Wagon is where you can buy trinkets, and they're usually fairly expensive. And to upgrade it just requires the crest, which is the one you'll find the most of. I've never really bothered upgrading this. I usually find enough trinkets. It's not a big deal. This is something I would worry about upgrading much later in the game, after you don't really have anything else to spend your trinkets on. I mean, your heirlooms. And once you have the Farmstead DLC, it unlocks this guy. I'm not going to click on him yet because the Farmstead is not available. I kind of wish this guy wasn't available till the Farmstead was.
Most will end up here, covered in the poisoned earth, awaiting merciful oblivion.
And here you can see all your heroes that died. They will be dragged over here. You can actually still right-click on them and see what they were like right before they died. And it'll have a little bit of text telling you how they died.
In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
And in the Ancestors' Memoirs, you can review any of the cutscenes or voiceovers that you have already unlocked. You can get an idea here of how much there is to do in the game. Under collected journals, it will only unlock journals you have brought back to town, which requires a precious inventory slot. So if you want to collect the journals, you have to give up being able to take a little bit more loot back home, basically. Because each journal page is 1 inventory slot. But I believe after you have brought them back to town, you will no longer be finding them. So if you eventually collect all the journals, they'll stop showing up. And occasionally while you're on this screen, it'll change from day to night or whatever, and they'll occasionally have little dialogue to say. And it just transitioned to night while I was talking. There isn't much more you can do in town right now. It's time to embark on a quest. Click on the Embark button at the bottom of the screen. I do kind of like the little ambiance here, where you have them occasionally saying things and the day-night cycle shifting along. As certain quests happen, different things will appear in town.
A mecca of madness and morbidity. your work begins.
You didn't say this sprawling estate. Quests and parties. This is where you select a quest and form an adventuring party of 4 heroes to embark on it. Click on a quest to see their details. Drag heroes into a slot at the bottom of the screen to form your party and default party order. Alright, we're actually going to put him in slot 3 because that will allow him to use all of his abilities. And we're going to put her in the back slot. She won't be able to use Mace Bash or Hand of Light, so she's basically going to be going from healing to stunning. That's basically her turns. We have only 2 quests available, Darkest Dungeon and the Intro to the Ruins. Now this is, I believe, a level 6 quest. It's suicide! Yeah, these guys do not want to do it. I beg you, no. If you try to take a low-level hero to a high-level mission, they're going to get slaughtered. And they're also going to be stressed the hell out. So we can't even attempt this anytime soon. We have to do this level 1. So, a scout. Test yourself in the mad realm of your fallen ancestor. Take note of how the creatures have taken over, but don't delve too far. So we have to test the depths. It takes a few weeks, I think, to unlock all the other regions. And so right now we only have this one mission. It's going to give us some crest and another trinket. What trinket do I have? Debuff resistance, but at the expense of dodge. I don't want to tank what little dodge I have right now for a little debuff resist. So we're just going to provision up and go.
The cost of preparedness, measured now in gold, later in blood.
Provision for the journey. You'll want to take different supplies depending on what region you are going to, how long the quest is, and your own preferences. But always bring some food and torches. For your first short quest, try bringing at least 8 food and 4 torches. Well, I'm actually going to bring a full stack of 12 food, a full stack of 8 torches. I would bring more torches, but he has an ability I can use every combat that will basically give me a free torch if I start having problems with torches. Now, since we are going to be in the ruins, I am going to bring some more holy water. I'm also going to bring some keys and some shovels and 1 medicinal herb. And that's all I'm going to bring. Now, I just spent quite a bit on supplies. As a matter of fact, if I clear all this out, yeah, I'm at 3,085. Actually, hold down shift and do it. Yeah, I just spent about 4,000 on, oh, not 6. 4,000 on outfitting for this. So like I said, I tend to over-prepare. So that cost me 4,000 to prepare for this, but I do it because that's kind of what I like to do. I like to be a little bit over-prepared. I like having more holy water in the ruins. I like having enough keys and shovels and plenty of food so I can do a little bit. That's the only way to heal outside of combat is food. So yeah. We're going to embark. I think I'm ready. Your first expedition into the ruins of your ancestry, be curious, be careful. Now these screens going into missions, it will usually have a click to continue, so you do get to read whatever tooltips are on these screens. So we need to explore 90% of the rooms. I am going to end up exploring all of them, most likely. Alright, so we currently haven't explored this. We can stumble into traps in there or combat that we don't know about. At best, yeah, we just got... We can see now there's a curio ahead of us. An extra torch. Now the ruins is one of the better places for acquiring loot. You tend to have more curios with treasure in the ruins. And the enemies tend to be a little bit easier for the most part. Alright, there's nobody in the back rank, so I can't use those abilities. Now, undead are highly resistant to bleeds, but this still does decent damage. Of course, I could also buff his damage and speed. That may be a better... But let's see, that does 4 to 7? No, I'll just stab him. I could always crit, but that helps take one down. Because now he can actually do Grape Shot. He will be guaranteed to kill that one and put some damage on that one.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
And she can just finish him off and give us a little torchlight. Nope, or she could miss. But she still gives us a little torchlight.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
So now that he's used the ability, I can mouse over him and see he has Bump in the Night. If it had any status effects, it would show the icons out beside it. So it's basically just a melee attack. And you're going to die. Or you're going to be missed. That works too.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Now when I'm down to one guy who's relatively weak, that's how I could stall and just end up with her in combat, able to heal if I needed to. I'm only down a few points. That wasn't critical. Unlock Strongbox. A long-forgotten strongbox sits on the cold stone floor. Its contents unknown. So we got another shovel. They're used to clear obstacles and break into things. And I forgot to read these when we got them. Food. Eat to restore health and stave off hunger. Each party member generally consumes 1 unit per meal. Occasionally, in dungeons, you will get hunger checks. If you do not have the food to feed everybody in your party, you will suffer damage and stress. If you have the food, you will get a little bit of healing for using it up. Holy water will purge evil, restore purity. That's when you're interacting with Curios. And it can be applied to a hero to increase resistances for so many rounds in a combat. Antivenom purges blights, poisons, and toxins. Medicinal herbs cleanse items and prevent maladies when you use them on Curios. And they can be applied to a hero to eliminate combat debuffs. Skeleton keys unlock strong boxes and doors. Torches increase the light level. And it's no use. This is all the light we're going to get for now, because yeah, I'm at 100. Alright, so bust, a sculpted bust of a once prominent local figure. And of course the jade, dull green like rotting flesh. We'll move on to the next room.
Even the cold stone seems bent on preventing passage.
A crude jumble of stones and debris blocks the path. So these are... Oh, I can't mouse obstacle. I can't show you the icon because I'm standing on it. These are obstacles. If you have a shovel, you can instantly clear it out. If you don't have a shovel, you can clear it by hand, but you'll lose a lot of torchlight, and everybody will take stress and usually damage. Alright, we surprised them, so we get to go first. They're still going to go at the end of the round. This little icon means that they have actions remaining. So everybody who hasn't gone will have that little icon next to them. She is the biggest threat, being in the back rows. She is a stress caster. He's just got a mace, does some damage. This guy's got a sword, he's just going to do some damage. But he does have protection. The way protection works, it reduces the incoming damage. As you see, I do 4 to 7 to him, but only 3 to 6 to him. And dodge reduces accuracy. And of course, she's really fast, so I really want to get rid of her. I could just outright stun her, so that I can work on thinning out these guys and let my frontline fighters be able to hit her. That works. .5% chance to crit with that. 12.5 to crit with that.
Another abomination cleansed from our lands.
Alright, now that she's up at the front line, I could... I have a chance to outright kill this guy, but letting her go is a bigger threat, I think. Though... No, let's outright kill this guy. Nope, we didn't quite kill him. She can try and finish him off. I think this does a little bit of damage. Well, it stuns him at least. So that was a fairly effective first turn, but now she's going to get to go before we do, probably. Nope, she does not. Better chance to hit with this, and I can put a bleed on her. I still missed. Luckily, I dodged her stressful incantation. That icon means it would cause stress damage. And that's about 20 points of stress per hit. That starts adding up pretty quickly. She's got a bleed on her. It does 2 per round. She's got 5 hit points left. Now, she resisted the stun, but I did do a point to her anyway. Now, I do have an AoE attack. I have a chance of killing both of them.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Well, he bled off his stress. Your primary fighters tend to get rid of their stress pretty well. Killing and getting crits cleanses stress. The ones that tend to build up stress are the ones that aren't actually attacking things. Your healers, your utility characters. Those are the ones you have to worry about the stress, and those are usually the ones targeted by these back lines. They'll target your back lines quite a bit. Because they figure there's a reason you put them on the back line. Alright, so we got a scouting report. We know there's a battle with treasure that way. Battle with Curio that way. Curios down each of these halls, and traps down each of these. So let's go get this Curio, and then we can backtrack and come up here and go across. Now, if you watch my torchlight as I move, it goes down pretty quickly. As you see, it's going down fairly quickly. I needed a torch just to go down this hallway. But you'll see when I go back, when you're exploring halls that you've already been to, your torch does not burn quite as quickly when you have to backtrack. Alright, I could stun him. I think I'm better off getting a DOT on him. Now, skeletons have high bleed resist, but they have low blight resist, and the Plague Doctor's specialty is blight here. So that's 4 damage per round. It's almost enough to kill him over the next 3 rounds. I really don't want him to stick around that long. That would only do 3 to 5. That would do 5 to 9. With a good crit, I could potentially make sure that that DOT takes him out. I didn't get a good crit, but he's going to die in 2 rounds, so I can ignore him now. He's got 4 hit points left and a 4-point DOT. He's going to die before he takes another action. He's no longer a factor to me. I missed.
Well, she's going to have to heal next round because he's pretty beat up. I can potentially kill one of these guys, or I can stun one. I think I'd be better off killing one. Well, let's see. I would almost kill them with this, and then he could use Grape Shot and probably finish them off. This is one situation where I think the AoEs might be my best choice. Because I have the potential to end this combat. Well, no, he'd have to crit to do it, but...
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
This guy has a debuff on crits receive chance.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Good. I got a crit on him and got some stress down. I'm actually going to do this because I'm going to stall a little bit. I don't want to kill this guy just yet. That's a free torch.
The way is lit. The path is clear.
Because I want her to get
only the strength to follow it.
Trying to talk here, narrator. I want him to be able to get a heal. Now, if you crit on a heal, it also relieves stress on your target. Well, all he can really do is, you don't want to pass your turn, you'll suffer stress. I could shuffle around, but yeah, I guess I'm going to go ahead and finish this guy off. Didn't quite get as much healing as I wanted on him, but that's fine.
Ghoulish horrors, brought low and driven into the mud.
Crest, a sigil of honor earned by the family, actions long since past. So we've got 2 of the heirloom types we need to accumulate. Alright, now I'm well aware of what the Holy Fountain can do. An ornate fountain of holy purport. That's why I like to bring more holy water. So that gave her a heal and burned off a little bit of her stress. Next one I find I'd probably use for him so he could get an out of combat heal. And now we will backtrack and remember how much light I lost coming through the passage. I had to burn a torch. If you watch on the way back, it doesn't bleed quite as quickly because I've already explored this area. Instead of burning over about 25 on that passage, I only used about 5. 1 per square I covered, basically. But here, it's about, well, that was about 6. Yeah, you burn a lot more in fresh exploration. More crest and a key. Alright, let's stun her if we can. Is that the right building? Yeah, binding gas. I can bleed him. He's fairly fast as well. That bleed isn't too bad. I'm going to take 3 more points from it. I think I could stun somebody, but he's pretty beat up. I need to heal him. And I got a crit and remove some of his stress. Alright. This could do 4 to 8. I could potentially kill him and put some damage on him. If I don't kill him, the bleed should finish him off with my minimum damage. So that softened him up where I could easily kill him next turn. Now I need to start working on her.
A devastating blow.
That worked. That worked very well. Alright, heal him again. And I think I will just go ahead and finish this guy off.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Alright, so we're doing fairly well in the combat. We're keeping our stress low right now. He's got the most. And we're staying fairly healthy. Chest with your family's sigil. Well, let's use a key on it.
Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles. Paid for in blood.
Alright, a disease charm and a move charm. Now, traps. Keep an eye out for your character down here. If you see a purple icon, that means you've spotted a trap. Right there. And you can mouse over this to see who has the best chance to disarm it. So, 60, 60, 90. He would be the one to use. Now, disarming a trap also relieves stress. So even though he's got a 60% chance, I could try disarming it with him. It would have a chance to bleed off stress, and I think I'm going to do that. And I made a mistake.
Curious is the trap maker's art. His efficacy unwitnessed by his own eyes.
So he took some damage for doing that and got about 19 stress. If he'd successfully disarmed it, he would have just gained 8 stress back, I think. So, yeah, that didn't work out so great for me. Now I'm going to go down here and attempt to disarm this trap. Scouted traps will be visible on the ground as you approach them. Select a hero, click on the trap to disarm it. Some heroes are better than others at disarming. I'm going to try it again. Alright, he made up a little bit for his mistake. Now, I could push on down through here, burning more torchlight. And I would also end up getting a little bit of stress just from walking along. I could also walk backwards, but you tend to suffer more stress walking backwards than you do going forwards. Now, I got lucky and didn't hit any there, but if you have to back up a long way, it's usually better. Like if I had been all the way down to this last slot, it would have been better to move on into this room and then turn around and come back. All right, we're going blind here. More food, busts, and a lot more food. Now, since we got a lot more food, I can actually do some out-of-combat healing with all of my characters. He could get, what is that, 8? He could eat 4 food. And he actually still needs more points, but he's full. You can only eat 4 food at any particular time. I think after I make it to the next room, I might be able to eat more with him. Oh, use your damn torch. We got a hunger check. Exertions of adventuring have produced a growing hunger amongst the party. We'll all eat food and regain a little bit of health. If we don't eat anything, we take damage plus stress damage. Now, luckily, we had found that food, so we had plenty of surplus. And we've completed the quest. But there's still one more room to search, and I'm going to press on and do it. Now, can I top him off a little more? 2 more food? He's still full. It's going to be a little bit longer.
Without tools of iron, you must rely on flesh and indefatigable purpose.
I clicked the wrong button. I had a shovel. I had 4 shovels. So yeah, there you see. I suffered a little bit of damage for everybody. Let's eat some food, people. You're still full. You're probably full. Yep. And that caused some stress. Burned down my light. Oh, that was stupid. I wasn't paying attention. I clicked the wrong button. Alright, this is the final room. I'll worry about it when I actually get the loot, what I need to get rid of. We are going to stun both of the people in the back. It's really good him having a high speed, so he tends to go first. That guy's got a high speed. He's really nasty. That guy just does some pretty good damage from the back. I have a better chance to hit him. I need to take him out, I think. I missed. Now, after they're stunned, they get a boost to stun resistance for a round. That's to prevent keeping an enemy completely locked down. If I hit him again, it'd be 100% resist, and it keeps stacking up until he gets to go, basically. So let me stun the guy who hasn't gone yet.
In Radiance, may we find victory.
And let me see if I can kill this guy. Almost. Now the thing about speed is you saw last time the Plague Doctor went first. It takes your speed and it rolls a die basically to see what order you're going in. So his speed is actually lower than that guy. Just last turn I got lucky. This turn I didn't. Now I could try, they've both gone, so I could stun them both again. Because their debuff was gone. I could kill this guy with Grape Shot and it put a little bit of damage on both of them. I think that's a good option. Or I could miss them all. And let's stun this guy. Well, let's not stun him. Oh, that's right. He had stun resist. What was I thinking? I'm going to use Zealous Accusation, because that would definitely kill this guy. Not going to use Grape Shot. I'm just going to try and take this guy out. And now, I think I'm going to put Blights on them. Now he should be dead. Yeah. That Blight is going to kill him before he goes again. Now it's just this guy I need to worry about. I can't stun him because my stun only hits the first 3 ranks. But I can now stun him. And allow him just to do a heavy hit on him. His hits do 15% more versus Unholy, so. Not enough. He's going to have 1 hit point left. So I need to, I'll just hit him with the DOT again. It does stack. Or I'll miss. That works too.
The slow death. Unforeseen.
Now at this point, he's going to die. I don't have another combat after this. If I did, I could just like skip his turn so that she could get a heal off on somebody. I could still do that anyway on the off chance she would critical that heal and reduce some stress. And I think I am going to do that. Let her heal the guy who has the most stress. Didn't get a crit.
Is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle.
But now also, he can get a chance to go. If he gets a crit, it could relieve some stress. Not so lucky.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
So we found some onyx, black like endless night, and some citrine, yellow like fading hope. Now, we don't have room for everything, but I've got some trinkets I can equip just to clear up an inventory slot now. And let's use a key on this heirloom chest. And get more heirlooms. Perfect. Don't have room in my inventory. Well, I really want those crests. That will sell for 15 when we go back to town. That would be 55 total. That will sell for 20. That would be 10. We'll just swap out the torches and leave the torches behind, because I would rather have the crest than just 10 more gold. Now, once you've left something behind, you can't re-interact with the thing to pick it up if you cleared up a spot later. That's my one disappointment, is that you can't, like, leave treasure to be picked back up when your provisions have run a little bit lower. I kind of wish you could, you know, like, leave little caches. But that was a overall successful adventure, although we did stress him out a little. Not a bad haul for an early mission. A little over 6,000. Of course, that's about how much we spent to provision for it, isn't it? About 6,000. Or was it 3,000? I can't remember. But we got a lot of heirlooms. Unfortunately, we did not get any deeds, which is what I need to upgrade my roster size. Everybody is now level 1, and everybody has a quirk or something. He's got obsession with food, and bonus damage in the Warrens. Bonus scouting in the Warrens. Are you trying to tell me I should do the Warrens with this group next? Reduced blight resistance. Chance to turn any miss into a hit. That's pretty good. Alright, so now we're back to town. Why do I always say alright?
The tents are pitched, banners fly, and the corpse wagons stand at the ready. The circus has come to town.
I've tended to notice that, rewatching my videos and editing them. After a pause, when I'm getting ready to talk again, I always go, alright, instead of just going straight into what I need to say. I need to work on that. Severe negative quirks. Over time, some negative quirks will lock into place and become severe. Severe negative quirks cost much more to remove in the sanitarium. Okay, good. It did not make kleptomania severe, so I have a chance to make this guy decent by removing that at some point. What became severe? Enlightened? He'll only meditate? I'm not that worried about. Yeah, that's the only one that became severe. So I have a chance to get rid of her fading and get rid of his kleptomania, which are the only two that are really critical, and make these guys people I'd just rather toss to the side. The Butcher's Circus. A traveling circus has arrived on the outskirts of town, bringing with them all manner of crude sport. Enter the ring this week to relieve 10 stress from all heroes. So, that could relieve 10 stress from all heroes. I could care less right now. The Butcher's Circus is the only available on the Steam version of the game right now.
A traveling bacchanal. A debauched contest of survival. The Butcher's Circus is all these things. And more.
The Circus. You can go to the Circus to fight multiplayer battles. It is completely independent from the estate. Your heroes and trinkets in the Circus are separate and will not impact your single-player progress. Progress you make in the Circus, including your rank, banner design, and any rewards you unlock, will carry over to other campaigns as long as you are logged into the same Steam account. So, Butcher's Circus is a little place where you can do little duels, PvP matches, enter the ring with assortment of heroes, earn prizes. Some of these prizes, I think...
Claim your spoils. They are hard-earned, and the previous owner will not miss them.
While fighting in the circus, you'll earn prestige. As your prestige grows, the ringmaster will grant you the use of additional trinkets and new pieces for your banner. Prestige is earned by finishing matches, killing your opponent's heroes, and by keeping more heroes alive when you win a match. Winning a match earns more prestige than losing. So yeah, different prestige levels, you'll earn different things. I wanted to say there was some things you could do in here that would benefit your solo player game. As you see, I've already customized my banner a little bit. I haven't actually participated in any matches. I just came in here and looked at all the info. So I don't know how active the arena is there. I know you can issue challenges to friends who have the game. But yeah, it's not available, unfortunately, on the Epic Game Store version. But we have unlocked 2 more buildings, the Tavern and the Abbey. Before I do anything else, I like to, once I finish a mission, go straight to the Embark screen. Alright, a strange glow at the farmstead. The comet's impact was felt here in the hamlet. The great impact toppled gravestones and kicked up a cloud of dust that covered the entire region. When it finally settled, an eerie miasma was seen to spread from the mill. It distorted the rules of time and space far beyond imagining. Venture to the miller's farm to see what has been done. So I've now unlocked the ability to go to the farmstead. And right now, apart from the darkest dungeon, I just have Ruins quest available, but I do now have medium ones as well. But I like to go straight to Embark when I get back first off, just to remove my current party. Because when you do these sort options at the top, to sort by stress or to sort by class, it will always move your current party to the very top. So while I'm in town and trying to do things and see who needs to do what, how many of a particular class I have, stuff like that, I don't want the people in my party interfering with that. And I also like to unequip all the trinkets, because I probably may not... I don't usually take the same heroes right back out. But we've got 2 new buildings to check.
Fresh kegs, cards, and curtained rooms promise solace to the weary and broken alike.
Stress relief. Heroes relieve stress by taking part in activities at the Tavern and the Abbey. Each activity has different side effects. Experiment to find the best activity for each hero depending on their quirks. Committing a hero to an activity locks them in that activity until next week. You'll have to take a different hero with you on your next quest. So you can go to the bar to drink your cares away, go to the gambling hall for the thrill of winning, the brothel for the pleasures of the flesh, and all of these, well, he won't go to any of them because he has enlightened. He will only meditate. But yeah, it's upscale in price, so you would assume the higher up, the better the stress relief. And the price also scales with your level. At level 3, the prices increase, and again at level 5. Now the Tavern takes portraits to upgrade. I usually wouldn't worry about upgrading this early on. Focus your portraits on the guild, because it also requires portraits. Most of the time, as you increase the size of your roster, you can just rotate out heroes, because even if the hero does absolutely nothing for a week, they're going to lose 5 stress. If you just leave a hero idle, they lose 5 stress. So the only time I would really worry about de-stressing a hero is if they have a whole lot of stress or they are afflicted. Afflictions will pop up later. But yeah, this guy I could de-stress, but I'm not that worried about it, honestly. Well, yeah, he's a guy I might keep, so I might de-stress him over at the
The cobwebs have been dusted, the pews set straight. The Abbey calls to the faithful.
Now the Abbey requires busts to upgrade, which is also used for the sanitarium when you unlock it, and I think it's a better place to upgrade than this place starting out. After you've got your sanitarium upgraded, you probably start working on your Abbey before you worry about the tavern. Now there is one thing to worry about upgrading these for. The first upgrade increases the recovery, next reduces price, third adds a slot, and then it repeats. This one will increase the stress reduction, decrease the price, add the third slot. Because every week the caretaker will randomly be in one of your 6 stress relieving places, tying up a slot in it for that week. So this guy's over praying to a higher power, so he cannot relieve stress. If he was really stressed out, there's nothing I could do this week, because him being God-fearing, this is the only place he would go. And that is one thing that might make you want to upgrade this, is that then you don't have to worry so much about where he is, because you have 3 slots, an extra slot in each of them. But like I said, starting out, you're going to be rotating out your parties. You can let them bleed off a little stress in town and use somebody else usually. Only the piece of reflection. I might de-stress this guy, but that's 1,000 gold. And I use a lot when I'm outfitting for a mission. So I'm not that worried about it right now. I would rather save my gold for upgrading heroes, and when I get the blacksmith and the guild, and for outfitting for adventures. Because the best tactic in this game early on, until you get your Hamlet upgraded, is to just grab 4 heroes every week and throw them into missions. And once your roster gets full, get rid of some heroes that have really bad quirks, grab 4 new ones, and just keep using 4 of those, and just keep behind the ones you want to keep. And work on, say, getting rid of really horrible quirks, like, say, kleptomania. And upgrading their skills and equipment. But just use the 4 you're getting every week to grind out your heirlooms and your gold for upgrading the heroes you're going to end up keeping. Speaking of which, can I upgrade my roster? No. I could trade some crests for more deeds, but actually I'm not going to do that, because I don't need the extra roster this week, and next week I may have found the deeds I needed, so I wouldn't need to have transferred. So we've got a bounty hunter.
The thrill of the hunt. The promise of payment.
Another Vestal.
A sister of battle, pious and unrelenting.
A leper.
This man understands that adversity and existence are one and the same.
And a new crusader.
A mighty sword arm anchored by holy purpose. A zealous warrior.
Alright, so our leper has less damage with melee skills. That sucks because he's all melee. Less chance of a virtue. And virtue doesn't mean positive quirk. Virtue is something that happens when your stress hits 100. When your stress hits 100, you have a random chance of either becoming virtuous or afflicted. And this means he's more likely to become afflicted than virtuous. He's a fair weather fighter, so he does more damage if his health is above 99%. So before he gets hurt, he does more damage. He has second wind, so he does more damage if his health is below half. Interesting combo there. Let's see, he has the single target attack, revenge and withstand, and his self-heal and stress reliever. Our new Crusader doesn't want to go to the Cove, hates mankind, and takes less stress if the torch is above 75. I tend to keep it above 75 for the 4 extra dodge. So that means he will take less stress. That's pretty good, actually. And he's got the first 4 abilities, just like Reynold. He's got different... he's got the one that prevents nighttime ambush and self-stress reducer. Whereas he had Stand Tall, removes mortality debuffs and stress from one guy, and removes stress from the entire party, and reduces the stress they'll take for the next 5 battles. Nice. Alright, this guy has reduced blight resist, reduced bleed resist. Those aren't that bad, really, honestly. I mean, yeah, sure, it dropped him down to 20% on both instead of 30. He has more stun resist and gets more stress healing. I don't have a stress healer now, so that's kind of moot. Bounty Hunters are pretty good characters, though. They have a lot of crowd control. He has a stun and another stun. So yeah, he'll be a pretty good character. She gets less speed if the torch is low, and she will only gamble in town. More damage to her range skills, more accuracy with her range skills. Well, considering her range skills are what she'll be in the back primarily using, Judgment, the stun. She actually does have Hand of Light if she gets pulled forward. And she has the heal. That's actually a pretty good healer, too. That diurnal's not a big deal to me. I try to keep the torchlight up. The only time that would be a big deal is if I summoned a dimensional shambler, because the torchlight is considered 0 on the fight with it and you can't raise it. But I wouldn't use her to fight a shambler. Excuse me. So yeah, these new guys we got, not too bad. So we've got a fresh party to take out for the next one. These will heal a little stress just being idle. But I may not necessarily use them in another adventure anyway for a while. I could spend money to de-stress these guys, but it's not a priority for me because I do plan on upping my roster and having another fresh group next week, and I can just start rotating people out that are crappy before I really start dumping money into them. That's a good idea, is just let the recruits keep coming and swapping people out. That's Darkest Dungeon. And I hope you all enjoy the game, and if you do, hopefully it's still on sale on Steam and you can pick it up fairly cheaply. Or if you prefer, you can go to Epic Game Store and pick it up. The Steam version does have access to the Butcher's Circus, which the Epic Game Store does not, and is also currently on sale, last I checked. But I hope you enjoy the game, and if you'd actually like me to continue this 4th Estate playthrough, just leave a like or comment down below and let me know. But thank you all for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next time.